Hey guys, how's it going? Back at it again with another iRacing video. So this is a Formula V race from when it was at Tsukuba on August 12th, so about a little over a month ago. So in the timeline, this is my third day of iRacing, and it just so happened to switch from the previous track to Tsukuba, which is actually a track I'm pretty familiar with from my time in Gran Turismo Sport. And speaking of which, there goes that Gran Turismo sign right there, which is something I was not aware of at the time of racing because I was focused on the track. But this was a pretty good few races. So for qualifying, I didn't actually set a lap, just wanted to see how everything goes, how the racing would be. Or maybe I just wanted to stare at the pause screen for 7.5 minutes. But despite not qualifying, it would actually put me in ninth anyways. Was hoping to be in the back, but being near the back's not as bad. So skipping the obligatory waiting at the race start for 1 minute, it's race start, and the car head actually gets a terrible reaction time, which causes me to come to basically a stop. And well, now I'm in the back, but it was a disaster avoided for me, at least. As about to see going into this turn, there's at least 4 cars. One goes airborne, and we go down the inside of one of the cars. So that's exactly why I wanted to start in the back. A new race. We are the rookies here, so not everyone's probably as accustomed to the car and track combo. And look, there another car goes off. So that looks like another free position, and near miss right there, just cutting across the track. Luckily, I didn't get caught up in none of that. So now, by the end of the first lap, we have gained 5 positions. So pretty good. We're in the top running spots right now with a good chance of moving further up. As you can see, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st right there. So cutting ahead to the next lap, I keeping up right behind John Small too right there. Gaining in certain corners, losing to him in some other ones, mostly because I have to slow down to not hit him. But you can see right here going down this back straight, he tries to go down the inside, or I don't know what that was actually, but he sees me coming. I can't actually make anything stick right there, but everything's going good. I'm feeling confident. I'm at this point, I'm already gelled well with the car, and despite only being my 3rd day, that my 2nd day, I was putting in a bunch of practice sessions at the Motorsport Arena track, and I was figured out exactly where the limit of the car was and how to drive it mostly. So fast forwarding a bit, going into this penultimate corner, I actually get a pretty good exit speed because we end up going side by side onto the back straight, and actually I would end up passing him because I'm just that good, I guess. So that's into 3rd at the bottom step of the podium. Not bad for my first race here, especially considering how I was doing in the last video with my first few races. But I did get better towards the end with a bunch of 4th, 3rd positions, and even a race win. After that, nothing else would have really happened. Just casually setting the fastest lap here with a 107.0. So that's pretty good. Just driving consistently, just trying to close the gap to 2nd ahead and extend the gap to 4th behind. And at the end of this lap, I actually set the fastest lap again by cutting off 4/10 with a 107.05. So I'm showing some pretty good pace here, just to show you guys that I'm not complete trash at racing sims. You guys saw a glimpse of my pace the last video in Suzuka. I was getting knocked down last, but I was making some pretty good recovery drives. So look at this right here. Look, so I improved my time again at the end of this lap with a 106.7, but actually before I crossed the line, P1 had the fastest lap just for like about a second or so with a 06.74. So he was obviously intimidated. He had heard what I did on the last lap, so he tried to assert his dominance over me just for me to come along and be like, nah, not today. Oh, so you think I'm joking, but fast forwarding just a bit, going onto this penultimate turn onto the back straight. There's our race leader off the track, facing right. He knew I was coming for him. He knew it was inevitable that I was going to put him in his place, so he took matters into his own hands. So that's me in a P2. So on the very last lap, I'm about 0.03 of a second behind first. Try to go for a final overtake opportunity into the penultimate corner, but can't make anything stick. Probably didn't go as aggressive as I could have, so I don't end up being able to gain any ground on him on the back straight. So it's gonna be a P2. So yeah, this was a pretty good race. Gained a lot of positions, kept it really clean, got no incident points here. So I was pretty happy with that race. So for the next race, I decided to qualify. I felt really good with my pace, at that 106.72. So my first lap would actually be invalidated because I went off a bit. And so Tsukuba is a pretty good track. It's pretty short. It takes you about like a minute. So it's, I don't want to say easy to master. I don't want to sound like too full of myself. But it's because it's so short. It's pretty easy to get the hang of it. So my final qualifying time would be a 106.4, which is really good. Like, I was not expecting that. That is 0.03 of a second off my PB from the last race. And that lap time would actually put me on pole by quite a margin. Half a second. That's a pretty big gap. The person in second's actually around 2 seconds or so quicker than the person in third. Alright, so it's race time, and what's probably an iRacing first. We don't have to wait long at all for the lights out procedures to begin. Maybe about 15 seconds or so. But it's lights out and it's go, go, go. I think I get a pretty good start. Person in second also gets a pretty good start since they're doing a pretty good job of keeping up with me. No chicanery going into the first turn, except right there where I almost lose it. So there could have been, but I did a pretty good job of preventing it. So after all of that, I'm feeling pretty confident, but at the same time nervous, because you never know when you're about to spin. It is iRacing, especially when you downshift like I did. That turn we just came out of, I spun quite a bit there during practice, so that turn was always a concern, but I'm coping really well, not losing the lead after the first turn or the first lap so far. And I actually would keep the lead after the first lap, but it's basically just me and second up here. Third is around like 2 seconds. So me and Steve are pretty quick drivers. So what I mentioned earlier about this upcoming turn being a concern of mine, look at this. Oh, nearly lose it, but just managed to keep it on track. And now me and Steve are going side by side. I hug the inside going into this turn, and it's enough to get him to back out. He definitely played it safe. He definitely could have gone around the outside. We definitely could have still been going side by side, but I think I would have just edged him out right here. So that one was a pretty scary moment, and what I think is an iRacing first. A slide was corrected. Don't even know how I did that. But what I do know, however, is that I corrected it and it kept me in the lead somehow. And now the gap went back up to around half a second. So just a bit ahead right here. Here I am, minding my own business, doing pretty good. Then the next thing I know, I'm getting pit maneuvered, and that was completely avoidable. I have no idea what that was, and now I'm in third. So, he either did that on purpose, or, he's Lance Stroll. So now I'm finding myself in a familiar position, third just ahead, with first being pretty far ahead, which sucks because I felt like we were doing pretty good on that first lap. So going into lap 5, I'm right behind third. He has the middle / inside line. I have the outside. I outbrake him just a bit, try to give him some room on the inside. He does a pretty good job on defending, just stays just ahead. But, I keep on him throughout these few corners, and, it's enough to put pressure on him. He pushes just a bit, and, he's off into a spin. So that's me back in second, and, that definitely cost me, first is around 6.6 seconds ahead. He's just up there going into the next lap. So if I have around 7 laps or so to try to close that gap on him to catch up. So going into lap 7, he puts down a 1:07.0. I put down a 1:07.1, just to show that we're on pretty even terms here. I do end up going a little deep into turn 1. That cost me just a bit, but I do get the straight line speed going into this turn. Not really chipping anything off his gap. It's just staying rather consistent here, and it would pay off since I get the fastest lap with a 1:06.8, which is good. It'll give me an extra boost in my driver rating. So something very interesting happens on this lap. So if you look at the relative, it's 6.5 seconds, and then it quickly starts dropping. The yellow flags are out, and look who it is. The race leader going straight into the barrier. So I have no idea what happened. All I know is that I'm back in the lead. That was very unexpected. I was about to go on Twitter and start a whole hashtag avoid lap 2, but fortunately for the sake of the world, I didn't need to do that since, we all saw what happened. So going into the final turn, the crowd is on their feet, they're cheering, they're clapping, they couldn't believe the race they just saw. Now I come home to take the checkered flag at Tsukuba. What a race, what a roller coaster, second race win, instant Dave Meltzer 5-star classic. So I was really happy with that race result, fastest lap, race win. Race wins always feel really good. But now it's time for our last race of the day, starting in P3. Lights out procedure begins, and P2 jump starts. Everyone point and laugh, but it's lights out and we're off. Person behind me actually gets a really good reaction time. We go a bit side by side, but he's able to take the lead from me. Going into turn 1, we managed to avoid any tomfoolery. It looks like there was about to be some behind us, but person behind manages to keep it just still long enough for this to happen. There goes the person in P2 and just barely managed to miss him. That was a pretty scary moment from what I remember. Going from a race win to a potential DNF for me would not have been very good, not what I would have wanted. So on lap 2, P2 goes off the track, so that's perfect for me because it allows me to close the gap, and I mean really close the gap. Like, look at this, like right on him. Not able to go for the overtake, but going down the straight, I feel like I got a pretty good exit speed, just enough to gain on him, but not enough to actually pass him. Or maybe it is, but going down, I got the inside, but he managed to just send it out around the outside, which is really good. But the threat isn't over yet since I'm still in a slipstream. I try to go down the inside. He defends the inside, so I go around the outside, nearly sent it into the back of him, but doing a pretty good job of avoiding that. A collision there would have definitely sucked. It would have pretty sure completely been my fault, did a pretty good job to avoid that, still behind him, just keeping a consistent gap, not letting him get too far ahead. All the while, person in first, just extending the gap as a second goes off again. So at this point, I knew that that was his weakest corner. So if I wanted to get a move, that would be the most likely place to do it. So going into the next lap, we're in the same position again, but this time I have the inside, he has the outside. So I try to send it around the inside, but he does a good job of outbreaking me and keeping the lead. So this is some pretty good clean racing that we're doing. We're giving each other enough space, not bumping and hitting each other. But in this turn right here, he actually manages to keep it within track limits, which was not something I was expecting. I was expecting him to go off and me to just take a free position, but no, that's not what happened. So now we're going in a lap 5, and I'm once again gonna try to make the move, go down the inside. Can't make anything stick, but you can see he's leaving space in the inside for me, which is pretty good. Going back again to the clean racing, but I'm still on him. I could still at least try to make something happen the next lap, but no, I would actually be too far. So 2 laps later, on lap 7, we run into traffic. A car comes out of the pits, and there's a car just sitting, and well, yeah, you can see what happened there. So that was unfortunate. Feels bad for Angelo right there. That was an easy P2 going down to wherever he ends up landing. He most likely has the pit. So R.I.P. to Angelo. He was a victim of the Shadow Realm. So that was about it. Come home in P2. Don't get the fastest lap this time. Don't get the race win, but it's still a podium. So I have a 100 podium success rate at Tsukuba in iRacing, since I only did 3 races, but it was a good race week for this overall. I did get a race win, so that's 2 race wins at 2 different tracks, and it was about to get better, because while looking at this Mazda MX-5 that I made, I get promoted to the D class, which of course in my fashion I didn't get properly, but yeah, I'm in the D class now, and which actually makes me eligible for the Formula 4 races, which is really cool, especially being day 3 of iRacing. Yeah, expect some Formula 4 videos coming soon, and until next time, I'll see you guys.